Hello, my name is Kiran Pange. Today is 20th July and topic for today's video is exception in Java. So what is exception? Exception is abnormal or unexpected condition occurred at runtime. So what is abnormal or unexpected condition in Java? So for example, I have written some code and in that code there is one condition or one line that is not executable or it is not understandable or executable by Java. So if that condition is not executable, then it will show it will throw exception, and the code after that condition will not be executed. Your program or your code will be abruptly ended at that condition only, as it is exception. For example, I have written some code, and in at line number 10 I have written sysout 9 by 0 or 1 by 0. So we know that 9 by 0 is infinite, but that means that line is not executable, as it is exception or abnormal for JVM. So it will not execute, the thread will return to JVM and the code will abruptly being ended at that condition only, or that line only. So what you have written after that will not matter, it will be anyhow will be ended at that condition only if the exception happens or the abnormal condition happens. I will give another example, day-to-day life example. For example, I have written something and 90% of my work is done, and suddenly the power cut happens. So what I have written 90% of work, I have not saved that work, and suddenly the power cut happens. What will happen? What I have written 90% work, my work will be deleted, or will be, as it is unsaved, it will be gone forever, and I have to write that code again. So if I have been already prepared for that exception or for that abnormal condition, then I could have saved my work, but that is not possible. So for every abnormal or unexpected condition, your backup plan must be ready. So that backup is nothing but the exception handling. So even if you don't know if exception will happen or not, you should be ready with the backup source code. If even if the exception happens, that source code will execute, and your code after that exception will also execute. It will not affect the code after that, what you say, after that exception. For example, I have what you say, written something very important after that exception, means as I said, at line number 10 I have written 9 by 0. So after that I have written the means important very important code. So if that exception happens, then that code will not execute, your program will be abruptly ended at that condition only. So the important will be skipped. So therefore exception handling is in scenario, exception handling you should have source code that will handle that exception. So there are various exception handling techniques, or we can say various types, like try, catch, throws, and finally. Throw catch is for predefined exception. Then throw and throws are for user defined exception. If you want to tell JVM that this method throws exception, you can directly use that. And if you are not confirm if that code will throw exception or not, you will use try catch. So we will see first try catch. So in the try catch, for example, we have many times seen that there is mostly array out of bound, string out of index. Such types of exceptions are means mostly occurred in our at our console screen. So for example, I have written means there are three exceptions I have I in my code will happen. First is arithmetic exception, second is string out of bound exception, then array out of bound exception. So uh, for every means arithmetic exception, array out of bound, string out of bound, these are special means what you say particular for that only, means arithmetic is for arithmetic only, string is for string exceptions only, and out of bound exception is for exceptions only, and exception is for all of them. But if you want to print something, or if you want to selection handling, means if the arithmetic exception occurs, then you should print something else, or you should print your code will be, your source code will be different. It may happen if there is arrays exception, then your code may be different, your source code may differ. It is dependent of this, it is dependent on the situation. If you want same code or same source code for every exception, it may be arithmetic, it may be array out of bound, it may be string, anything. If you want means only one or particular source code, then you can use only exception. But if you want selection handling, means for arithmetic there will be another code, for what is it, for the array out of bound there will be another code, source code, and for string there will be another source code. So you can use selective, means arithmetic for arithmetic, then array out of bound, etc. There are various exceptions. So for example, there is, I have declared three means catch methods, catch codes. So one is for arithmetic, one for array, and for string. So three have declared, but in I have fourth try means try condition, that in that I have defined one string that is null, and I am going to find its length. So s1 dot length I have to find that. So it is not comes under the arithmetic, it doesn't comes under the array, it doesn't comes under the string. So what it will do, it will, as you don't have source code for it, you don't have catch code for it, so it will not catch and it will throw exception. So the red line, that is will be array index out of bound, will be shown at the screen. If you use only exception at the starting, then also it will not help, because if you use if you use exception at the starting, then all these three will be of no use, because every exception will go in that exception catch only, and these three will be of no significance. So your three, means your particular exceptions must be at the present, means at the first stage, and your exception should be at the last. Even if you even if your exception doesn't match with the arithmetic, string, and your array, it will go in the exception at last. If it doesn't match with these first three, then it will go then end at the exception. So your exception must be at last. If you want to use it, it should be at the last. Your particular exceptions must be at the present, and your exception that is particular, not particular, it is means combined for all exceptions, so it should be at the last. And there may be various catch codes for one try, but there should be there cannot be various try and one catch, it is not possible. Then next is there are various what you say advantages of it. As I said previously, if there is something code that is very important after the your means exception, then it is going to be executed after the exception in catch. For example, if certain code has exception, then that code is written in try, and if exception happens, it will go in catch and will execute that catch code, and your next code will be executed afterwards, after the catch code is being executed. Then throw and throws. For example, if you are telling JVM that I have method like s1, s2, s3, so we are telling JVM that s3 throws exception. We are intentionally telling him that JVM, sorry, s2, s3 throws exception. So your, for example, s3 throws exception. Okay, then if you call s3 in s2 method, then your s2 will also throw exception uh, automatically, because your s3 throws exception. You are telling JVM forcefully that it is going to throw exception, so your s2 is calling s3, so your s2 will also throw exception. And if you are calling s2 in s1, then also s1 also will throw exception, because s3 is being called by s2, s2 is being called by s1, so s1 also will throw exception. mm, these are some means it is not defined by Java. It is means it is defined by the user, and the previous try catch is defined by means previously defined by the Java. This is all about exception handling. Thank you.